Hey guys, it is 7 o'clock almost, so I'm sure this live because I am waiting on some of my people to come up, and oh, so how is everybody's weekend so far? Cause mine is not going too bad. And gonna go see my son tomorrow. He just moved to a new house. Oh, there you are. Whoa, that was quick. That was really quick.
I know I'm ashamed of myself. That's
How's your
good.
week? Huh?
So what's good? Good.
I'm having a really good weekend. I get to go see my son's new house tomorrow. Yeah,
Right on.
yeah. So, yeah, having a good weekend so far. What about you?
Well, nothing I'm quite ready to put in my mouth yet.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. You want to have some ice cream tonight or something?
Just trying to relax before I head off to work
Yeah.
tonight.
What time you gotta go in?
Uh, a few hours.
Yeah. So, I was gonna ask you some questions because not that I couldn't step my game up, but I did not uh, read some things I wanted to read. I didn't get a chance to. What is the next step? Because if everybody, I don't know how many of you know. If you live here, you got to know that they found him guilty of what, Mr. Daly? Hey, girl,
Hey, friends!
how are you?
What's up, Ollie?
I'm good. I've missed you guys. I've been busy.
We missed you too, darling.
I know. I was like, last Friday we were at convention, and I was like, oh, there's nowhere quiet for me to go, and, like, attempt to watch this or even participate. So, yeah. Anyway, carry on. What are you guys talking about?
I was asking him because I'm not as sharp as I should be on our judicial system. So
Whoa.
what is what is
Ooh.
next? And actually, do you actually know what he was convicted of?
34 counts.
Oh, fucker.
And basically, he spent $150,000 to bribe a porn star in the midst of an election, and then tried to funnel it to make it seem like he didn't pay it
Oh wow. Okay.
while his wife was 4 months pregnant.
Mm,
He's just a shyster,
mm,
like
mm.
the rest of them. But he's especially uh,
And
idiot.
what's the next step? Do you know by
Well,
chance?
now that he's convicted, his sentencing hearing is on July the 11th. So he's going to have to report to a probation officer, and we'll see from there. This is
Mm.
unprecedented. It's a president of the United States being convicted of 34 felonies. You know, we did
During the election,
it.
it was.
Yay.
There
But
are people who think that he is not, excuse me, that they were not clear on his what he was guilty of. And there are people who will think that this was done just to keep him from being able to run. So
it's 34 counts of falsifying records.
yeah.
When you are running for president of the United States, you got to be free and clear and upfront about everything that you're doing. The fact that he didn't do that 34 times, that is a felony against the law. He broke the law.
I saw a couple of videos today. Oh, and one of them I'm not going to try to explain, but the other one, it was a guy talking about if he gets off, then they need to take if you commit a felony off a bunch of stuff. Like the fact that I think
Yes, yes, I
you see
saw
that.
that video. I saw it was like he was like, it's not about what did he say? It's not about the system, it's about equality or something like that at the end. Like, if you're gonna allow him to still be a president after having felonies,
Mm-hmm.
then you need to make it to where folks can get jobs, folks can vote, folks can, you know what I
Get
mean?
loans.
Like, yeah,
Everything that a
yeah,
felon cannot
everything
do is
that felon can't do
yeah.
legally, if they're going to let that asshole do it, then yeah, all of that shit should apply to fucking the layman, if you will, the little person, which I wholeheartedly agree.
I did too, and it was something I'd never thought about.
Right.
Yeah.
I didn't either until I saw the
Uh-huh.
video. What are you over there smirking about?
Everybody knows we have a two-tier justice system.
Of course we do.
Explain for
Of
those
course
who
we
don't know
do.
what that is.
People with haves get treated a different way than people with have-nots.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
And everybody knows that the moment you are convicted of a felony, first of all, you probably be locked up pre-trial, you know, until your court date comes. And
Oh
then
yeah.
once the court date comes, you know, you're supposed to be gagged or, you know, not say anything. You probably wouldn't even have to be gagged. But the
Mm-hmm.
fact that he could deny that 9 times, which, oh, by the way, counts against him during the sentencing, you know, like all this stuff plays a part, you know. He was single-handedly, defiantly thumbing his nose at the law. If he would have skated from these 34 convictions, it's like saying the law is not the law. And then we have complete anarchy in our society. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
This had to be done to prove that nobody is above the law.
Hi, Tila.
Hi.
Hey,
So
Sheila.
So can we do really quick for people who don't know who we are? Can you guys introduce yourselves, starting with Derek and Holly, and then Tila? That's just how I see you on my screen. So
I'm Derek.
yeah, okay. And you are who to? Yeah, Derek's my cousin, y'all. And Holly,
I'm Holly, and I am a friend to all.
isn't that beautiful? And the next one, isn't it kind of funny that I said y'all name? Stop. I gotta watch myself
Stop
today.
with your face.
Um, and what's your name, young lady at the bottom?
I'm Tila.
Okay.
Drop me phone.
So, like,
And this is AA,
this is what? What does AA stand for?
I got the
Alcoholics
Uh,
Anonymous.
I got the coffee.
I know
Just
that.
mixing the cigarette.
What?
I said I got the coffee. I just don't smoke, so I need the cigarette. But you already got that
There you
covered
go.
for
Yeah,
me.
I got you.
I got my little favorite drink too. I'm gonna be wound for sound all night long.
There you go.
But yes, I mean, the whole premise of this trial is to show that nobody is above the law. Now we have a decision to make in November. Are we going to support a guy who's been convicted of 34 felony counts, or are we going to elect a hair sniffer?
It doesn't look good. We don't have options. I mean, to be honest.
I ain't gonna lie, I'd rather take the hair sniffer than the 34 felony count guy.
Sure, of
I have
course.
And then,
37 statement. Go
I
ahead.
mean, plus I'm also thinking, what if he like falls off while he's elected in office? Then Common was taken over.
Which is really very realistic. Any moment. Any moment.
I don't want to wish bad will on the man,
No, of
but you
course
know,
not. No, but it's also reality. You know, everybody has seen the decline in the public eye.
yeah.
So,
But this is a social reckoning for the United States. We have an opportunity to determine if we are really a nation of laws or not. You know, we have an opportunity to show that nobody is above the law, or we
mhm.
can keep on falling into the same ideological traps that allowed a person like him to be, you know, brought up and
Elected
through
in
the
the first
ranks.
place. Yeah.
So
I don't know. It's about to get interesting though, and I don't necessarily know interesting in a good way.
I'm not
But we shall.
holding my breath either way. I expect the worst.
Oh yeah, yeah. Play. Yeah.
Unfortunately,
Uh.
I can't add anyone else up here. I'm so sorry. Go ahead. Finish talking.
Oh
I
no.
ex-
Yeah. I'm.
yeah,
Oh, play to the worst for sure.
yeah, yeah. This is it's an interesting time.
It
So
is.
we'll
It
see
is.
how our country either perseveres or unravels.
Because
well,
there
well.
are.
You saw. You saw. I don't have much hope in humanity in general after they fucking elected him in the first place. I mean, the Trump supporters are just off the fucking chain, and the amount of entitlement that we all witnessed, like it was on a grand scale. If you know, it was just it's unreal. So I'm already seeing posts on Facebook. I saw something the other day that said, "Oh, I'm more MAGA today than ever." Okay.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
saw one where basically someone compared him to Jesus,
Fuck out of here.
and like he did this and he did that, and yeah. And I was like, what?
He did what and what?
Yeah, that. Yeah, they compared him to Jesus. Like Jesus did something. I don't know. I should have wrote it down, but it was like Jesus was basically a criminal.
It
Oh,
just goes to show how people can stoke and placate off of people's aggressions
Hmm.
and identity for political leverage. You know, and it's sad too because I don't think that every MAGA person is a horrible person, but at the same time, I think they are trapped in an ideological echo chamber where that allows them to justify treating your fellow Americans like shit.
but but when you riding hard for somebody, like regardless, you know what I mean? Regardless of any that's like regardless of the felonies, like I'm just gonna blindly follow this fucking leader. Like, hello, what are we doing? You know what I mean? Where's there room for education? Where's there room for, oh shit, maybe he's not the fucking messiah, maybe he's not the, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I know.
I
but I feel like there are people that blindly follow him because of whatever.
I do distinctly remember though the Greatest Generation, World War II vets coming in and was just like, if you aren't careful, if you don't think about something greater than self, these are the things that can happen. We saw it firsthand with Hitler.
Hmm.
They didn't listen. The boomers didn't listen. They were still kept on with like me, this individualistic ideology. I'm going to do what I want because I'm an American and freedom and fuck everybody. And now this is what we live with. You
Well,
know,
Tila, since we didn't even know you were frozen, what do you think about what we're talking about?
I don't I dropped my phone and it hung up. So I don't even know what we're talking about. So what's the subject today?
Um, the fact that
34 felony
and what's
convictions.
next?
Um, um,
Yeah,
Wait,
that's
well, let
all
me
people can
ask
say.
you this, Tila, because we do live in a world that we live in. Are you for Trump or against Trump?
you, there was so much controversy when he was president that I said I was going to keep my comments to myself about this man. I had, I have, I thought I had friends. I mean, people I thought were my friends have stopped speaking to me over it. So I
Okay,
said
wait,
this
wait,
round,
time out.
I'm just gonna keep my
No,
comments to
time
myself.
out. Why have they stopped talking to you? Are you for Trump or against Trump? And I'm not going to stop talking to nobody. I don't care who you vote
Right.
for.
Right. That's my thing. No, okay. I am against Trump. I'm not
Okay.
for Trump at all. I'm totally against Trump. And everybody that was, had everything negative to say about Obama, I never, that everybody has their own opinion. And everybody that had everything negative to say about Obama, I didn't care. Say what you want, freedom of speech. But then when I had the same things to say about Trump, they stopped speaking to me. They talked about me like I was from Mars. Like I wasn't, how could you not love this man? I mean, I personally think that people that follow him are almost cultish.
What
I
did
mean, they
I just
follow
say? What
him.
did I just say? I just said almost the exact same thing. Just blindly following this man. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, they follow him like, seriously, they follow him like, one man said, I mean, I forgot where I was one time, and some man said that Trump was better than God. Now, I forgot where I was, but I was literally standing next to some man that said Trump was better than God. And I'm like, these people are kind of like, it's almost cultish. It is. It's almost
how,
like a cult.
how
They
many
just think they just
how many pussies did Jesus grab? I mean,
right,
if we're gonna
He
go,
did that.
if we're gonna
He
go,
did
he
that.
did a lot of things. He may have
He
turned
didn't
water
do
into
that.
wine. He may have turned
Um,
water into wine, but how many pussies does he just walk up and just grab? You know what I mean?
right.
Just grab her by the
I question his
short
okay, so
and
grip with all them holes in his hands.
oh,
tall.
okay, so Ben Ready 11, his first comment was, it's no way in hell he should be still free right now. And then the second comment was, who gets away with 34 felonies and gets to go home for
And that's why I
You
responded
know,
with
Ben
fat.
Reddy brings up a good point though,
Oh,
because this to me has been a strong, powerful lesson on the merits and power of white privilege. Only a Trump can get away with the things that he has gotten away with, and you I'm pretty sure he didn't work for you know, it's
and
like
didn't they
Josh,
didn't they question Obama's birth
yes, he
certificate?
did.
Like he presented it. He gave you what the fuck
Yep.
you wanted.
he
You
was
know what I
telling
mean? Go
y'all
to
to lock
school.
Hillary up
Yep.
But
as
he
he was running.
yeah. So
And now look, it's like Derek and I were talking about this earlier too today. The fact that he is facing the same punishment he wanted to give. I mean, not as harsh. The Central Park boys.
mm.
He's now being tried on a felony charge. They happen to be innocent, and when asked
You mean
about,
the exonerated
yes,
five?
thank you, yes, they had happened to be innocent, and when asked about this, his comment was, "Well, they pleaded guilty, didn't they?" Yeah.
Like first off, only one of them had parental representation while they were being interrogated. They were being interrogated against their constitutional amendment rights. The cards were stacked against them. You had a person pushing
Mhm.
rhetoric and hyperbole by printing a one-page ad. Who was that person? Oh yeah,
Mm,
Trump.
there he was. There he said it. Say it again.
So that's what I'm
I knew
saying,
that. I knew nothing was going to happen to him when, like, 2 weeks ago, back when he was falling asleep all the time and making loud outbursts, and the judge told him he had one more
Mm.
time to fall asleep and make an outburst. And he said, he said, uh, whatever they call him, something, whatever they call the ex-president. He said, I don't want to throw you in jail, but one more outburst and you're going to force me to have to do it. And I knew then, I was like, well, he's already said he's not going to throw him in jail. He said it then, I don't want to throw you in jail. If you don't want to throw him in jail because he was sleeping, then you're not going to throw him in jail for anything. I mean, when that judge made that comment, I was like, yeah, if people pay close attention, he just said, well, he's not, so why waste everybody's time? All that time, why waste all the time if you have no intentions whatsoever of throwing this man in jail? Everybody just sitting around, lawyers pleading this and pleading that and trying to prove this and trying to prove that. And this judge just sitting back like, I mean, I'm sure
Well,
that happens often where they already have their mindset before they even go in if they're what they're going to do. But he told him, I don't want to throw you in jail because you were the president, but if you fall asleep one more time or one more outburst, I'm going to have to throw you in jail.
He was fined almost $10,000 throughout this trial
hmm
because of
Yeah,
his
better.
antics.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
So, I
yeah,
mean, and all that stuff is going to be taken into account on his sentencing hearing on July 11th. You know, all these things are going
hopefully,
to be weighed against him because that's just
hopefully.
how the law works.
well, we're about to see if the law.
Yeah, that's how the law works, but is he going to be above the
Yeah,
law or is he
about
going
to see.
to?
We're about to see that. We're about to see. Is he going to be above the law, or is he going to be held accountable for his actions, just like he would be if he didn't have all that money and wasn't the former president?
And then consider the burden of proof for the prosecution. You have to convince 12 people and at least four alternates with beyond a reasonable doubt that all of these things were true. And
Mm-hmm.
not only did they prove one of them correct, they proved 34 of them correctly. And, and
They need to throw
these
the book at this
these
motherfucker. Is what they need.
jurors aren't just liberals.
No.
Some of those
Mhm,
jurors listen to Truth Social. Some of them are Fox News watchers. Some of them are doctors, lawyers,
mhm.
financial consultants and things like that. This is a jury of his peers. And you know what? It had to happen to show that no one is above the law. Because if he got away with this, it nullifies everything about our judicial system.
Yes, it does. It does. But I mean, just like look at the police officers that are proven all this. They have all this stuff proven against them, but yet they're found not guilty when they're just randomly killing people for whatever reason. I was surprised that one woman. That's the only one. Well, besides the George Floyd thing, um, that woman. I'm surprised they found her guilty.
Well, I want to say this though. There have been several more because I'm when you said that, the thought. I think there was three, maybe four uh, men who were pretty much beaten and raped by a few officers, and they got them. Yeah,
Men.
yeah.
I
They
remember Derek Chauvin, the dude that put his knees on George Floyd's neck. He got shanked for Juneteenth by a white guy in Arizona while he was in prison. I, I don't know why this white person felt like he needed to shank this guy repeatedly
on
for
Juneteenth.
black
But he did.
for Juneteenth to
But he
a,
did.
to atone for the wrongness, I guess, of I don't know what's done to black people in American
If
society.
that's
But
not an ally, I don't know what is.
Right.
right on, brother. But
I
yeah,
think that for
Somebody
our country,
found that man's
I
books.
guess I was prison woke.
I think for the sake of everybody, because I, I think for everybody's sake, they have to send him to jail, prison, or something.
I don't think he's going to go to jail.
I don't either.
I
I
don't.
do not
I
either.
just. Yep. I got a sinking feeling they're gonna. They need to make an example out of him. They need to throw the fucking book at him, but they're not going to
He'll
because.
probably,
But
he'll,
just like Tila said, the judge is already like, I don't want to send you to jail, and has had multiple opportunities.
but now that
You know,
he's convicted for
what's a ten thousand
34
dollars?
felonies,
But I'm just saying. But let's be honest.
he's going to be on house arrest
Yeah,
probably.
sure.
Yeah,
See,
that's what I think. That's what I think. He's going to be on house arrest.
In
And he
paradise.
probably can't have any Wi-Fi or phones or anything like that
no,
because, you
Yeah,
know,
but
no
he thinks
social.
he's above the law. So that's, I mean, you know what I mean? We're going to be dealing with this shit forever because
Right,
he thinks
because
he's above the law.
not to mention
and
all
he's
the
going to,
appeals he's going to file.
right, right.
Sure, he gonna have this shit tied up for years because he
Hmm.
can because he can just off GP because he got the money to drag this shit out. So why wouldn't he? And it's more publicity for him. You know what I mean? And all his followers, all his cult followers, you know what I mean? It just absolute shit show, and it's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
How do you think it makes us look as a country to other countries with all this going on?
Hypocrites.
We all know that.
We look like hypocrites. But
I said
Explain.
that when he got hired, what America just became the laughing stock of the world. We have a third-rated reality star host as the
Right?
president,
Ah,
and
We've had
the
actors.
ex
We've
and
had actors.
ex
You know, we've
Playboy
had actors.
centerfold as the first lady. Come on now. I said we are the
We've
laughing stock of the world.
we've had actors as presidents as well. Derek,
I know we've
what do
had
you think?
actors. I know we've had actors, but he was what, a reality TV host that didn't even
That,
succeed.
but
a real
he
estate
That
didn't.
investor
didn't even
before that.
succeed. Real
Okay, so
estate investor that didn't, wasn't successful. And then we got his wife, the Playboy centerfold, as the first lady. Come on. And people were like, his followers, oh, she's so classy. She's so classy.
well, here's
This bitch been
my
in,
thing. But see, I don't care if she was a sex worker. I don't care what she did. What is she doing for this country now? Like,
what is
what
she
is
nothing.
she doing?
while he was in the
What
White
her?
House?
You know what I mean? What is she doing in her position of power? Like, you have this platform now. What the fuck are you doing? You know what I mean?
What
I
did
don't give
she
a shit.
do? I mean, she wasn't out doing first lady stuff. She
That's what
wasn't
I'm
out. I
saying.
mean, she didn't
Michelle
do
Obama.
anything.
Yeah,
She
I
did
can
stand
think that.
up against cyberbullying.
And use Michelle Obama's speech to do it.
Yeah.
Verbatim, verbatim.
But you can go anywhere. You can
I
go anywhere in this country.
Couldn't even come
And
up with her own words. She copied Michelle Obama's speech and thought nobody was going to notice.
even my 10-year-old kid knows Michelle Obama's initiative about getting kids out and getting exercise and healthy eating, and like my kid is aware of Michelle Obama's initiatives that she had in place while she was in the White House. My kid couldn't tell you, and Dorit knows my kid. She's ridiculously smart, smarter than a lot of adults. But like, she couldn't tell you who the first lady was. Just based off of what does she do? What does she
Right. Because
do?
she was not out in the public doing anything.
Right, right.
She,
She
Derek,
she just wasn't.
doesn't really care
And
painted on the back of her
well,
jacket.
I also think that her husband probably overshadowed a lot of, even if she wanted to,
he wasn't
who
going to
knows
do it.
what he allowed,
Yeah, he
who
wasn't going to.
knows what he allowed her to
Have
do, you
Yeah.
you
know?
seen the way he treats her just like when they're walking with each other?
You
He
see her
won't say
Mm-hmm.
anything.
swat his hand away like a fly.
I
Mm-hmm.
would
Pardon me?
be embarrassed.
Yes.
I would be embarrassed to be seen with a great pumpkin, let
You know,
alone married to him.
you need to stop.
Please.
Derek,
Yeah.
what do you think that other countries think about us with all this going on?
It depends on where we're at, of where they're at, honestly. The Europeans are trying to hold on to, they think that overall Americans are good, but we are corrupted by American nationalists, which they're not wrong. Then you look at like Pan African or South American countries. Some South American countries are inspired by the nationalist movement. Look at the stuff that happened in Brazil. They actually stormed their capital a little bit after our capital was stormed. They tried to overturn their election too. You know,
Did
then you
they?
got,
Yeah.
yeah, then they got Victor Orbans and people like that, are trying to overthrow and overturn their court systems and things. This is a global movement. The nationalist movement is a global movement that's trying to preserve things for the powerful few. And then there's other people too that know that America is in the midst of a hypocrisy, you know, and we've always have been too, you know. We don't walk it like we talk it because
Mm-hmm.
we say on one hand liberty and justice for all, and then on the other hand we show that there's two-tiered systems. We show
Mm-hmm.
how cops can murder people before trial and conviction, in the streets and get qualified immunity for it. We see all these things that's happening in our society. But yet there are people from a media source that's able to convince other people that what you are seeing is not what you are seeing, you know? And you get your Sean Hannitys and your Tucker Carlsons and all them people to come on here and bloviate about whataboutisms and false equivalencies. It distracts from the overall messaging of us doing better and making sure our actions match our words. So
Mhm.
what's going on is internally, America is in a national reckoning. But because of technology, it's being portrayed for everybody to see up close. That's why they have a problem with TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they have
Yeah,
a problem with all these
buddy.
things that, help people establish their own voice or their own identity or look at things from an alternative lens that is rooted in evidence and fact and not in some powerful person's inherited beliefs. That's why you have an Elon Musk spending billions of dollars to buy Twitter so that he can control messaging to the people, his like-minded individuals. You know, as soon as he bought that company, I deleted my account. You know,
I've used Twitter for years.
because it's
I
just
never had Twitter, never.
yeah.
So I don't
But
even know
people,
nothing about it.
but I understand, some people make their living off of social media and all these other things. They have their
Hmm.
check marks that they have to uphold. So some of them do have to play ball on those platforms.
Hmm.
But, you know, luckily for me, I'm not influential enough that I could be selective, and keep my peace.
Hmm.
But, some people don't have that luxury. So, I mean, how it looks, it doesn't look good because our actions don't match our words.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
we'll see what
that's
happens
why it's
though.
even more. That's why it's even more important to be active and take action. You know,
Yeah,
eventually
don't
it'll be,
boo, vote.
and eventually it'll be seen. You know,
Yep.
there's no choice. Yeah.
And for people of color specifically to sit there and tell me things like, I don't see the importance of voting. You can eat a dead dick. And I say that with all the sincerity. You can eat a dead dick. I keep thinking of black people that got their head beat in on the bridges and stuff for us to get that right to vote. I think of all the veterans that sacrificed their lives overseas in service for your freedom that you take for granted. Fuck you with the sick dick.
Well, I mean, just for example, the power of uh, the non-white vote had in electing Obama. I mean that's like that is a this generation real time. If that doesn't prove to you, if that's not proof enough that your vote does count, um,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know
Black
they say
women are
they said
single-handedly responsible for getting
yes
Joe
they said
Biden elected.
that they came out in I mean inspired and in droves, but it shouldn't be we're inspired to just vote for our candidate. We need to vote. You know what I mean? It shouldn't be just because of that. I personally knew people that were only voting and had never voted before. Oh, but because we have a black man on the ballot, I'm going to go vote now. No, we need to go vote for every election. You know what I mean? And um, but yeah, that's proof right there that it works. You have to. I mean, and I grew up, my dad always told me, my dad's huge in politics and just, we grew up, if you don't vote, you can't bitch. Like,
Yeah, if you don't vote, you can't complain.
that just reduces it to the bottom fucking line. You don't vote, you don't have a right to bitch about shit because you're not uh, enacting any change whatsoever. Doesn't matter how you vote, just fucking vote.
And you shouldn't handle your political identity like a fucking pro wrestler anyway, or
Right.
try to elect somebody based on who you want to have a beer with, or making sure their bleach blonde, bad built, butch body looks good. So, I mean,
You shouldn't base any of that shit on, yeah, absolutely.
it should be on merits and principles and values. But, oh, what if you don't have any?
Well, I was going to ask you, do you think that in the last few years that we've lost our patriotism as a country?
I think we never had it. I think that the patriotism that was presented for us is a false equivalency.
Can you explain that?
It is a marketable affect, the American dream, work hard and apply yourself and good things will come to you type thing. That's a construct that we were chasing, like love or, anything like that. It's a pipe dream. But the reality is we have all kinds of obstacles, glass ceilings, barriers, steel doors, traps, school to prison pipelines, and all kinds of systemic things that are designed to keep marginalized people in their marginalized place. So, yeah, only thing that's happened is reality is now matching our existence,
Uh,
and now we got to find our way to sift through all the noise to figure out what's real and what's not.
Well, that's all it is noise.
Hey, Holly, can you? My glasses are not, they're messed up.
Yes,
Can
ma'am.
you can you read what Ben Ready 11 is saying?
He said, "You see the reason why people do vote with just what just happened to Trump. Your vote really doesn't count for real."
Give me the next one.
Y'all just seen what happened to Trump. Your vote really doesn't count for real.
Okay.
So same, yeah.
And I think our vote does count. I just think that we
And
have to
before
know
that, he
how
said
the
it's white
system is.
America. That's
Huh?
why. He said it's because of white America. That's why.
Well, I think that we have to look at how our system was created and built to know what counts where and where. Like,
Where's Holly?
yeah, we have to. I don't know what happened to her, but she'll be back. Let me see. No.
But yeah, you're right, though. We do have, we have to have a better understanding of our civics
Yeah, yeah.
and how the
because
process
if you
works.
notice, like
Sorry, I'm back. Sorry.
when
Bad swipe.
there were so many people, how we were saying you should vote because it it was your hard fought for right to vote. So you should
Hmm.
vote because of that, not because like it was proven in the Biden Trump election. Look at all the people that came out to vote that have never voted, but they did it and I'm glad they did to get Trump out. But are they going to all vote again? I mean, I don't know. They probably will because again, it's Biden and Trump. But if it wasn't Biden and Trump, would all these people come out to vote?
I think they
I
will
mean, you
because
should vote
they're,
to vote, not because like they were saying how the Indians rode like over 200. Some Indians rode over 200 miles on horseback to go vote. They hadn't done that before. But I mean, and I mean, just people, black people in general. Black people. We as black people, for whatever reason, feel they have that mentality. My vote doesn't count. Oh, my vote doesn't matter. Why should I vote? But by golly, they all got out there. They got out there and by the thousands and voted this past election. But I mean, it's just something that you should do all the time, not just because oh I don't like him, so I'm gonna vote for this one. I don't even know what this one is about, but I'm gonna vote for him just to get this other one out. But voting is like I said, like Dave said, it was a hard fought for right. So you should do it. I mean, people lost their lives for you to be able to vote.
yeah. But I think
And
the magic number, though, is 2042. That is the next census where they are afraid that the white majority will no longer be the majority. And then people of BIPOC people, Black, Indigenous people of color, will then be the majority in the country. And they
Uh-huh.
feel that there's going to be retribution then. So that's what they're afraid of. They
I
don't
can
want,
remember when I was in the 6th grade, and I don't know what we were studying, but I remember I was in the 6th grade, and I guess maybe that's like when the black and white couples things start. I mean, of course, it's gone on forever, but it started booming, And I was in the 6th grade when they were talking about how 2000 something, and when I was in 6th grade in 80 something, I'm like 2000s. I'm going to be dead before then. Is what I'm thinking as a 6th grade kid. But they were saying then that biracial people would be the majority, no longer the minority. That black people would no longer be the minority, and that biracial people would be the majority, and because that was when like the black and white thing really started booming. But I thought
Race,
surely I thought
race
I'd be dead by
mixer,
now.
I can remember being
race,
in college
race
when
mixers.
I can remember being in college and um that same thing kind of came up. It's like, well, by so and so and so and so, there will be no more white majority.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
I can remember how and we're talking about this, and I remember the faces because everybody that I went to college, I went to a small, here, junior college, and I can remember their faces, and they were like, you could see that the faces were like, what?
Yeah. Yeah.
And now to watch it actually happening, it's a
But that's a product of how strong the messaging is too. That is straight up fear mongering
mhm.
to let white people say, here's the boogeyman, here's who you'd be afraid of, here's why you should vote for us type thing. They know what they're doing. They know how to sell their messaging to white people who are afraid of being, I don't know, clapped back, marginalized, something along
Yeah.
those lines.
Holly, will you read his next one? Oh, my glasses
Yep.
are fuzzy.
Uh, let's see. Ben Ready says, "How does your vote count when Trump just got convicted of 34 felony and went home? So how the hell are you gonna tell me your vote really counts? 100."
The fact that he went home, I'm just gonna say this, and I'm gonna let Derek do this one. But the fact that he went home, he's been convicted, and yeah, most likely, if he was a normal human being on the streets, he would be at home. But it is also the fact that he was a former president of the United States. So, excuse me, I can't see them right away just making him go to jail.
Yeah.
And let's just say this too: people who have money, it, even though they do these crimes, they get different treatment than those of us that are just living everyday lives.
Martha
I
Yeah.
Stewart.
Yeah.
am a, I am a diehard Housewives fan, and the two, Teresa and her husband Joe. Teresa went to jail first. She went to prison first, and then Joe went, and he can't come back in the country no more because he wasn't a citizen. So people with money, it's
Yeah.
different for them than it is for us.
Martha Stewart
Yeah.
And so,
got to garden and make her own food and
yeah,
all that shit when she went away.
Yeah.
Hell, if that's the case, I'll go.
yeah, it's different for them than it is for us.
Yeah.
And
That's
that's
true.
not a voting thing. That's just a society thing. That's all
Yes.
that
It,
is. That's not,
it's
that has nothing to do.
socioeconomic
Yeah.
status because we live
Yeah.
in a two-tier justice system. We all know they live in a two-tier justice system. If you
Yeah.
can afford top-tier legal representation, you get treated differently.
Hmm.
Period. If
That's just like
you
the
can't,
the Chrisleys. I'm a big Chrisley fan, and they went, Todd and Julie Chrisley. They went to prison for embezzlement. And they were found guilty and got to come back later, like a month later, for sentencing.
Yeah, that's
Like I said, it's just the money thing. Yeah. If one of us gets found guilty, we getting handcuffed right then and there in court.
yes.
yes,
That's just how it is. Yeah.
yep.
Excuse me. Your mama could be dying. You still going to what,
Right. Right.
point
He
claim. That's it.
replied back saying that shit doesn't matter. Stop with the bullshit for real. Facepalm 100.
Unfortunately, it does matter.
I
Go
think
ahead.
he's got his mind made up regardless. So,
Right. He does. So let him have his opinion.
Yes. So,
but yeah,
so,
Everybody's entitled to theirs. So
so when it
yeah.
comes to January 6th,
Mm.
how
Go
much
on.
this is going to come back on him as well?
Only thing that will count against him is his prior convictions.
Hmm.
This is the other three trials that he still has to face. He is presumed innocent until proven guilty. Realize he is facing 91 felony charges already.
Well, thank God for that two-tiered system, then, huh?
Yeah.
It would be
So
nice if they told. It would be nice if part of his sentencing was he was not allowed to be the president any longer. I mean, well, I guess that would fall under impeachment. So I guess the judge has no control over that.
I will
Saying that
tell
in his
you
sentencing.
guys, I will tell you guys though, behind closed doors, Republicans are pressing him to resign.
They need
Oh, well,
They,
to.
that's nice.
They
They need to, yeah.
need to. Shit.
I mean, he's
but
making all Republicans look bad. I mean, really.
And
Because,
I'm just,
yeah,
you got senators and stuff he only has 4 more years. But you got senators that can sit in office until they die.
yeah.
You know what I mean? And this is affecting them. Not once he does his 4 more years, he's done with. So, if he gets elected, should I say, he's done with. But these other senators and stuff, they can be there for 20, 30, 40 more years.
hard.
And he is affecting them.
Grassley's been there almost 50 years.
Yeah, see, and they don't want to get voted out because of him.
He's a
And
bad look. He's a
yeah,
bad look.
and that's what they're thinking of. They got, everybody has to think of their own pockets, except for his followers. They're not thinking about their pockets. They're just thinking about
They're blindly following
their cult leader. That's what they're thinking about.
the Great Pumpkin.
I'm still fixated on you mentioning Martha Stewart because what's funny to me is she got convicted of insider trading.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Congress members get privy to all kinds of information and are still allowed to trade stocks.
Yep.
They are legally authorized to insider trade,
What's her name did
Oh,
that
wow.
too?
which is illegal.
Who was it?
Wow.
Somebody came into question. One of the members of Congress came into question for that, but they were talking about how it was legal, and how they're privy to so much information, but yet still able to just make moves willy nilly.
And then what's even more hypocritical is that any Congress member or senator who is convicted of any felony automatically loses their seat,
As they should.
as they should. But
Yeah, as they
you can be
should.
convicted of 34 felony counts and still hold your
Right.
seat to run for president of the United States.
And he
That's another
should not be able to.
He shouldn't be able
No.
to, but they are
Right.
bending the rules for his leverage.
Yeah, that's what I
And
say. I
what
wish
is
they
that?
could, but that's where I think that has to come under impeachment. I don't think the judge, but if you are found guilty of felonies, you should have that right taken away from you. You absolutely should be. You shouldn't have to be, or if you're found guilty, then impeachment should automatically follow.
He's gonna drag this shit out though, just like we talked earlier. He's
Yeah,
gonna drag it out,
yeah,
and
he is.
to where he'll
But
be able to get
he's already
he'll be able to get
been twice
people.
impeached.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. What good does that do?
The thing
He's
I
already been twice
want to
impeached.
piggyback on what someone said earlier too, because Tila just said a few minutes ago, when you're a felon, you can't vote, right? Am I right about that?
It depends
So,
on the
so
Right.
how can
state.
you be convicted of 30-something felons and still be able to
And still
run
be
for a seat that you can't even vote on?
I mean, he
right.
just got
Right.
convicted last week and he ain't even been sentenced yet.
And
This is how this works. Hey, who wants to read that next one, please?
go ahead, Drake.
Who do you know? Wait, who do you know that got convicted with all the bullshit and went home? Please tell me. Bro, you're preaching to the choir on this one.
Right.
We
Yeah.
already know that it's a two-tier justice system and that most people without money are going to be convicted.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Nobody we know gets away with
and
it.
it ain't just a black
Right.
thing either.
No, it's
People, white
Right.
people poor,
Right.
black people
Right.
poor, and everything in between.
Right.
because I
Right.
know some poor white folks who are felons.
Yes,
Grew up with them.
and they can't
Yes.
Grew
vote,
up with
they can't secure decent income, they can't get a home loan. There's all kinds of restrictions.
Right. Yes.
and so
Mm-hmm.
as a country, there's no way they can okay this. I mean, he's not going to be able to, have another
Does the
child.
military accept people with felonies these days? I know they used to. Like that's like
It
way back.
depends. If it's a nonviolent felony, they can get a waiver, but
Okay.
even then, those are rare.
Well, yeah. So if the military won't even fucking take you, you know what I mean? When kids, that's what kids did back in the day. They got in trouble. You know what I mean? Our parents and grandparents era, that was a way to get out of being in trouble.
Go to war, go to jail.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So
But yeah, no, we are not the same. So what are y'all voting for then?
I think that,
Preserving, we're voting for preserving our democracy. Period.
Obviously, obviously, he doesn't vote.
Look,
I was
if
going to
you
say,
allow an authoritarian to take over our democracy, he's going to unravel everything that we've been doing for the past since 1776.
and
It may
everything
not
that
be
everybody's
perfect.
fought for, everything that everybody's fought for, just down the drain,
It may not be
down the shit.
perfect, but it's ours. You know, we fought
Mm-hmm.
for it. We bled for it. This is ours.
Hmm. People continue.
Yep.
People continue to fight for it.
mm-hmm.
But I hear what you're saying though. I know it doesn't match. The carpet doesn't match the drapes. Because it should be fair and universal for all. But it's not.
Mm.
It never has been.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right.
And
I mean, and
the
I see
more,
how that's discouraging for people. Absolutely. I
yeah,
mean, that's it's like it almost like why the fuck do I even try? You know what I mean? It's like beating your head against a wall. Absolutely, I get it, but that's a wall you gotta keep fighting. You gotta keep doing it.
let me just say this. I think that the best part about living in this country is that we all have our own opinions. We all have freedom of choice to do what we feel is right for us. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
there are a lot of other places you can't talk about their leaders like this.
Hmm.
And we
Right.
all know that this is all over social media. I've seen 2 shows my own self about it. So let's just say
I'll be right
whatever.
back.
Okay, let's just say what is going on is unfortunate, and what has went on for years is unfortunate. But the fact that someone died, so you can sit here and talk about it, that's
Mm-hmm.
why you go. That's why you participate in
Yeah.
politics. And if you don't understand something, that's why you go ask someone or you go read about something. And we all we all have that choice to vote or not to vote. I'm 55 years old. I have not voted in every election, but there are some elections that I try to make sure that I'm ready for.
Yeah. And I ain't a Democrat. I'm an
No,
independent.
I'm not a Democrat. I have
But I
voted
will
both
vote in my own
Democrat
best
and
interests.
Republican. I voted both Democrat and Republican, and I also have friends. I have a lot of friends who happen to be Republican. Now, most of them don't look like me, but they're Republicans, and we respect each other because of the fact that this is our country, and we have the right to do what we see fit for ourselves.
Well, that's the beauty of it. The first, our First Amendment right even covers bullshit. You know what I mean? That we don't agree with.
Yep.
So while I have the freedom to say what the fuck I want, well, Joe Blow down the street, unfortunately, he does
Yep.
too. You know, and I mean that's the beauty of it. But on the other hand, it's like, okay, well, you still have all the other bullshit you have to deal with, which
That's
is
like
Joe
that
Blow.
Chiefs kicker
Oh
that caught all
yeah,
that controversy.
goodness.
for saying what he was saying. It was just like, so what?
Ah, but for
He,
you to get up there and say that shit to a gang of people that just racked up a ton of debt to go into, to hopefully get a career, fuck that. You made a mistake. You should have just got married, laid up, and had some babies.
yeah,
I mean, that takes some
it's
balls. Like, I get it. I understand where you come from, and that caveman mentality works for you. But you don't go to a university where people just spent time, money,
Thousands
energy,
of dollars.
went into debt with these hopes and aspirations of becoming whatever the hell they're becoming, and then just shit on them like, you're a dumbass. You made the wrong decision.
get your ass in the kitchen.
That
But
cave, that caveman mentality.
it's because
I wish you
of where we live, he can say that
Yeah,
shit stuff.
yeah.
He
exactly.
has
Now,
that freak that now
now,
the
now, I
concept
mean, I put some of
behind
that
it,
onus on the university too. Like, I mean, come on,
but the
really?
consequences behind it is what he has to face. However,
Sure.
we all have consequences. So
And
I know
freedom
that
of speech
to a
does not mean nullify the consequences.
yes.
You,
Exactly.
you
Yeah,
have the freedom
you're
if
free
you're,
to say it.
yeah, you have the freedom to be white and drop the N bomb whenever you want, but you could
But
also
there's
be ready for
consequences.
somebody to knock
But you
you upside your fucking
also
head.
got the freedom to get your ass kicked. Yep, I agree.
Cause and effect, you
Yes.
know?
Fuck around, find out. As the kids like to say these days.
And, and America is not the best place in the world for everybody, but it is where we
Yeah,
live.
Yeah.
And
it is.
I can remember being a kid and my mom, she was a Democrat. And I can remember being a kid though, whenever a Republican got in office, she taught us respect. I don't see that same respect today all the time. I don't see it. Just because the person you voted for didn't get in does not mean, don't act a fool. Just sit down and go make sure it happens the next time.
That's because our politicians became fucking gangbangers.
Well,
That too.
They ride for their red hat,
In or
cuz,
above the
you know?
law. I'm more MAGA now than I ever was.
Yeah,
mm.
But
gang gang.
get out. Stupid. Get out of here.
And I will admit, because there are some things that he did do that I can look at, and then I would look at it and say, "Oh, okay, I got that. Okay, he's okay. That's okay." But then he would open up his mouth and say some stupid stuff, and I thought, "Don't they got people that write stuff down for these folks?
No,
Right.
It's
they just shoot
publicized
from the
or
hip.
something."
They just shoot from the hip.
Yeah,
You
just
know,
shoot
rapid
from the hip
fire,
or
just pew,
something.
pew, pew.
Right. Because we can do whatever the hell we want.
Yeah,
Yeah.
January 6th.
yeah. And I watched. I will admit, I was watching. Just so happened, I just turned it on when he told them what to do. So I thought in my head, oh, they're gonna walk down there like, black people do when they marching on, steps and stuff. Nope. He was sitting back in the tent, having a good old time saying cheers to his kids, and everybody was in the tent.
They were sitting there like the Sharks and the Jets on West Side Story.
Yes. And then the other people, they just done, I'm like, well, okay.
When you're a Jet and you know you're a Jet.
Yes. I was shocked. Honestly, I was. I was very shocked.
Only thing I was thinking on January 6th was if that was tens of thousands of black folks up there, they would
Boom.
get mowed
Boom.
down.
Woo! They'd have blown
Million
that
man
building up.
march, if they had done some stuff like that,
They'd have
it would have
blown
been a
that
million orphans.
building up. They'd have
There have been
sacrificed
over
that
a million
building just to blow everybody up.
or fatherless children. Yeah.
Yeah.
It would have been Soweto in South Africa during the apartheid, where they shot down all them people who were protesting. Or it would have been that God, I forget the name of that place in India, when Gandhi was trying to help India get its independence. The British just mowed down 300 or something people, unarmed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, so history does repeat itself
Mm-hmm.
over and over again. And you know why there wasn't 10,000 black people at the Capitol? Because we already knew what was going to happen.
Because they're smart enough not to do
Yeah,
that shit.
yeah.
The rules.
2020, they gassed and beat the hell out of black folks in Washington, D.C. so Trump could take a picture with a Bible.
Went it upside down too. That's what I thought.
Probably the one he's selling.
It it makes we all know that the color of our skin makes a difference, and that is unfortunate that that is still going on today. It is.
It's
But
just sad. It's sad. You hate to see it.
do you need a hug?
No,
but,
no.
but and we know that this is wrong, but we also have to understand that some of the same people that were alive in the 60s, their children and their grandchildren are alive today. Spewing that same hatred.
Voting, preserving our democracy, saving our democracy from itself, from its own majority of people who feel like they're going to lose something. You know, and I keep thinking of the wage gap with all its wealth.
Oh.
You froze. You like glitched.
Yeah, you froze.
I said the top 20% of people in the United States own like 40 to 70% of the nation's wealth, something like that.
Oh, yeah.
And then like the bottom 70% only own 10. You know, so it's not equally distributed, you know?
Of course
No.
not.
So if the bottom percentage actually bands together and starts pushing for their better interest, that economic gap can shorten.
Well,
And that's what we need.
Yeah. It needs to shift.
Well,
It does.
that's what they're separated for, you know.
What's that?
That's why they want us to stay all separated.
Yeah.
Because I'm not trying to be funny, but I know a lot of poor white people.
Yeah, me too. It's like Offspring in the 90s. Offspring, it's like Offspring in the 90s. That rock band, you got to keep them separated.
Yeah. Yeah.
If I was the one in power, that's what I would do too.
Yeah.
Divide and conquer.
I mean, I'm a mom of 9. You don't know how many times I've done it in my own home. Divide and conquer. And it's a sad thing too, because of the fact that we could do more with each other than we can sometimes without. And we did see some of that during the riots. The protest. And sorry, I said that again, didn't I? The protest. We saw that you got more done working together than you did working apart.
Yeah.
I have a saying that I like to tell people. We need to build longer tables instead of higher fences. It's something I live by.
That's very good. That's good. That's very good advice.
Yes. We would be so much better off.
But do y'all honestly believe that you have the stomach or the bandwidth to listen to somebody who you fundamentally disagree with?
I mean, we love it daily.
Honestly, I would just walk away.
Come on. You and I do that every day, right? We are, I mean, and you still 2 years, 24 months.
I do it. I don't know about you.
Daily, right? And he keeps
every day of my fucking life.
However, I will say for the person on the other end who's, can be very opinionated, I have learned a lot. And if the people that's, you keep helping people like me, look how much better we'll be off. Right?
Yeah, but I think a lot of it is your openness and willingness to sit down and accept those difference of opinions, criticism, taking those opportunities to learn and not make it about you. You know, I sit back in the cut all the time and just listen to folks talk. You would be amazed at the things that you absorb and learn if you're just open. And
Yeah.
you don't have to and be humble enough to say, I don't know everything. You know what I
What?
mean? Like,
Say that.
shut
I won't say
up.
that. But I do listen. And usually by the
But you know
time
what I
we get
mean?
on the
Like,
phone,
and that my opinion isn't the only opinion out there. While I may disagree or we may, banter back and forth, you know what I mean? Doesn't mean that your opinion isn't any more valid than mine or vice versa. But I think more people have to be willing to sit down and have those tough conversations
well, and
and,
also sit
and
down
willing.
and understand that you're not a BFD. And when you realize that you're not a BFD and that everything you say is not right, it is not written in stone. Your thoughts, how you were raised, what you believe is not
Oh,
written in
yes.
stone. And
Yes.
that,
Mm-hmm.
I think that, because I'll admit,
I'm open to change. I'm open to change my mind.
by the
You know what
time
I
we
mean?
get
No,
on the phone,
really, but really, like if you can convince
I'm
me
going to
and
be
you have a good
real.
argument and you've got good evidence, then by God, sure, I'm on board.
Half the time, before we hang up, I mean, I know I've lost, but I've also learned. And you have to be willing to listen.
Mm-hmm.
So, however, if I had some of the answers and I had listened to somebody, like myself, I couldn't do it. I'm sorry. I couldn't do it. I'm appreciative very much. You need a hug now, cuz?
No.
Let's all give him hugs.
Just give him virtual hugs.
Air
He
hug.
don't like He don't like her. That's why I keep saying it. So,
I know.
yeah.
If if you can admit you've lost, but you've walked away with some knowledge, then that's a big thing.
Absolutely.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
Just remaining open.
And I think
And
that's hard for a lot of people too, because a
oh
lot
yeah.
of folks they can't absorb. Now it may take me a while you laughing. It takes me a while sometimes, but I am absorbing.
Is it they can't or they don't want to,
They
or
don't want.
that they allow things
Okay.
to ego or whatever you may be cloud their judgment or cloud their ability to absorb.
Yeah.
First of all, I don't say the word ego.
Anybody can learn.
First of all, we don't say the word ego here. We
Oh,
say a
oh.
falsehood of confidence.
Okay.
Uh
Okay.
huh.
Okay.
That's just a bad word.
I've been lying now.
But
It's a fucking ego. It's a
huh?
fucking ego.
I got one. Absolutely. Hands down. And sometimes I gotta tell that bitch sit down sometimes. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's not very often and she doesn't, she's not like a major part of my personality, but at times, I'll admit, and that bitch
There's others. Oh, they got a monster on their shoulders.
right. Yeah.
But if we do learn how to listen to each other and understand each other, it might make things a little bit better. But
BFDs.
that's not going to happen.
What's
And the reason why,
what's BFD? Big fucking deal?
Big fucking deal.
Okay. Okay. I mean, I was making sure it was deal and not something
Yeah.
else. Okay.
We are a byproduct of an individualistic society where everything is about me, me, me,
Oh,
me,
of course.
me.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it creates a lot of BFDs.
Yes. Yes, it does.
And not to mention the competitive nature of Americans in general.
mhm.
We are instinctively competitive, win at all costs.
I think they're
You ain't
bred that
you
way.
ain't first, you're last.
Well,
So that's why I keep asking and pressing. Aside from when somebody throws a plane into our buildings or bombs our harbor, who the hell are we? Because we don't unite.
no, not until something like that happens.
Nope.
Mm-hmm.
When that happens,
That's true.
when 9/11
Yeah, but
happened,
even then, right after, like we all came together, like
yep,
right after. But then after that, black people
boom.
were no longer the enemy. The black people were no longer. It was all what? What?
Arabs,
Our
Yep.
Muslim
Muslims.
brother and sisters. Yes.
And
So I
the
mean, it's
unfortunate
time to fight
part
again.
is that when it was all over, the unity was gone.
All over.
Right.
That war lasted 20 fucking years.
Okay, well, you know what?
Real
Well,
talk.
let's say this: you and your group was more unified than people on that weren't in the service. Y'all
My
haven't,
group.
you and the other people had to go to war. Y'all was more unified than we were on the outside during the whole
Look,
time.
there were Republicans, there were Trump, like diehard Republicans, diehard Bush heads, diehard Democrats, and everything in between. We just wanted to get back home.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Period. We just wanted to get back home. We saw our buddies getting sliced up and diced up every way from Sunday, and we were definitely fucking them up. But
But
we
you
just
were
wanted to
able
get
to.
home.
I'm sorry, but you were able to work together to get there too.
Yeah,
Yeah. See, on
put your
the
bullshit aside and accomplish the mission.
and on the outside, we
Right,
didn't.
right.
We still had bullshit going on out here.
Yeah, me, because we're BFDs. It fits. I'm telling you, I'm making it a thing.
I mean, I'm pretty awesome, but
We're
I
gonna
mean,
print it. We're gonna
I don't
print
know
it.
how to. I don't know how to
We're
be
gonna
like
put it.
you, but like I'm pretty cool.
Where's Monica? We need some shirt to say BFD on it.
I'm pretty sure for women, BFD means something else.
That's why I said. That's why I had to clarify.
I, I I knew it meant big fucking deal.
Oh, you sure? Because it might be written all over your face.
Mm-mm. I knew it meant big fucking deal.
Oh, okay. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I had to clarify.
Speaking of which, Tila, you looking kind of happy. What's going on with you?
She's eating ice
I
cream.
mean ice
Yeah,
cream.
yeah. Let's go with ice cream.
She said the ice cream.
Yeah, I'm eating ice cream.
All right.
I
That's
like
some
ice.
that's some good ass ice cream.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
More ice cream than I'm getting, so go ahead, girl.
Girl, me too.
Hey! Ain't mad about it.
Yeah. I wish I had that flavor. All them nuts in there.
Ah,
Oh.
this went left real quick,
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
All over some ice cream.
right?
Yeah, how we get from
Thank you,
Iraq to ice cream?
Tila.
They both
Thank you,
start with
Tila.
ice.
What are we doing? Any last remarks on what you think about what has happened and what is going on and what will happen and what you want to happen when it
Shit, stay tuned. That's all I got to say. Stay
well hold on,
tuned.
hold
I
on.
mean,
But
I think we all want the same thing to happen.
which is what
For him to be incarcerated.
but we know that's not going to happen.
Well, I
So
know,
the
but you asked what did we want to happen?
yeah.
So
What about
Hashtag two-tier system.
I would like America to come to terms with who we are as a collective. I would like for us to show that we are principled people. And I would like for us to preserve free and fair elections.
mm-hmm.
That's honest.
with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna cut this thing short and be off today. We're done for tonight. Thank you for watching, those of you who are watching. Thank you, Ben Ready 11, for all of your comments. We really appreciate it. All the feedback that you have given this evening. And I wish I could have had more than 3 guests besides myself up here, but I can't. You're going to get 4 people all together. So this has been Tea with TD. You can
Well,
watch
maybe
all my
next week.
reruns. Huh?
I said maybe next week. I'll be in Alabama, so
Okay, next week. I'm not sure we're going to talk about. We'll figure out something.
yeah.
This has been Tea with TD. You can watch all of my reruns on Tea with TD on excuse me, YouTube, and on Slide TV Uncut, also on YouTube. And I will see everyone Wednesday or Friday night. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.